Vice President Harris also hopeful that, quote, this moment gives us an opportunity to finally end the war in Gaza. Well, this comes as Harris is aiming to shore up the so-called blue wall in the race for the White House. And we're tracking both campaigns. Rachel Scott is standing by with the latest on Trump. But first, Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce is in Wisconsin tracking Harris. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, Michael. Well, as we head into this final sprint now, Kamala Harris is really upping the pace and intensity of her campaigning and the intensity of her warnings about a Trump second term, overnight with a blistering rebuke of his positions on abortion.
Overnight with abortion front and center in this race, Kamala Harris taking Donald Trump to task for his shifting positions.
Now, Donald Trump has a very different view on reproductive freedom.
During a rally in Green Bay, Wisconsin, Harris letting Trump speak for himself.
Because for 54 years they were trying to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I did it.
No, Donald, everybody did not want Roe v. Wade to be overturned. Women are dying of sepsis because they cannot get the health care they need. They did not want this.
Harris calling Trump out for trying to soften his stance on abortion after he told a town hall of all women voters this week that he's the, quote, father of IVF.
And now the man calls himself the father of IVF? I mean, what does that even mean? He is the one who, by the way, is responsible for it being at risk in the first place.
Harris upping her warnings about a second Trump term, hammering the message that he is a danger to democracy, going after Trump's suggestion that he would use the military to go after his opponents.
Journalists whose stories he doesn't like. Nonpartisan election officials who refuse to cheat by finding a few extra votes for him. Judges who insist on following the law instead of following him. It is for reasons like these that General Mark Milley, the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Donald Trump's top general, has called Trump, and I quote, fascist to the core.
And slamming him for calling January 6th a, quote, day of love.
140 law enforcement officers were injured that day. Law enforcement officers were killed that day. And what did Donald Trump say last night about January 6th? He called it, quote, a day of love. And we are all clear. The American people are exhausted with his gaslighting. Exhausted. Enough. Enough.
Harris now heads to Michigan today with several events there. She tries to shore up support in the Rust Belt, those key blue wall states. She's then in Georgia this weekend, and next week she's bringing out her heavy hitters, appearing for the first time on the trail alongside the Obamas. Whit.
Mary Bruce, thanks so much.